Yo, Nate, what's up, brother?
What's up, Alex? How we doing?
Dude, we're doing good. But honestly, we're in a little bit in panic mode right now. Brooklyn, who's supposed to be here right now doing the show, got sidetracked while driving on the way here, putting her makeup on in the mirror, got in the wrong exit. Now she's in New York.
Of course, unsurprising, terrible driver from what I hear.
So, you know what's surprising, though? It's a huge show because both of our basketball teams are heading into conference playoffs.
True. And I heard there's a junior transfer on the gymnastics team causing a scene.
Exactly. And you know what else is going to be a scene? This week
up?
we're debuting COLL'S for the first time ever on Timeout. Are you ready?
Yeah, man, let me get my makeup on.
Hey, but first, let's take a timeout. Temple fans, students, faculties, or just sports lovers, welcome back to another episode of Temple Timeout. My lovely co-host, Brooklyn Vaughan, has the yips and can't be here today, so we called up Sixth Man of the Year, Mr. Nate Stanley, to hold it down while she's gone. What's up, Nate?
Thanks, Alex. Great to be here. Everybody's getting used to the schedule changes, but no one knows that better than our athletes.
Yep, you're right. Hey, similar to the football team, Temple men's basketball had their regular season end early due to a positive COVID-19 case. This comes after a case forced the cancellation of their senior night game against Wichita State on Saturday. Their game against UCF last Saturday was also canceled for the same reason. The Owls finished with an overall record of 5-10, sitting in the 9th seed in the conference. As of right now, they will play the 8th-seeded USF Bulls in the first round of the AAC tournament on March 11th. Let's hope for the best.
Yep, and finishing up their regular season today, women's basketball took on Memphis for the second time in 3 days here at McGonigal. Memphis came out stronger than they were on Tuesday, keeping it close and leading by 1 going into the fourth quarter, but those last 10 minutes were all Temple, who outscored Memphis 21-6 in the fourth. Daisha Clinton led the strong finish with a team-high 23 points. Here she is putting together a three-point play to ice this one out. Owls win it 66-52.
I just thought our defensive intensity really picked up and we were really aggressive to the point where they weren't even really getting any shots in that fourth quarter. You know, especially those last maybe 15 minutes of basketball, I thought, you know, we finished on a high. We finished the regular season on a high.
Temple finishes the regular season 11-10 overall and 11-7 in the conference, landing them in the 5th seed. This puts them directly into the quarterfinal round of the AAC tournament, where they will play Tulane on March 9th. Temple women's basketball is going to play Tulane in the second round of the AAC tourney, no matter what. So, Nate, let's start having a conversation, buddy. Listen, predictions for that game against Tulane. Let me know what you're thinking.
All right, here's my mindset. I think it's going to be a Temple win. I got faith in my Owls. I know they're going to go out there, do their stuff. I mean, if you look at their past 2 meetings, Tulane did win those. But here's the thing. They were at Tulane, which I think plays a factor into it. Also, Temple 6-2 since those 2 losses. And if you look at their last matchups against Memphis, high-scoring, high-powered offense. Absolutely wiped the floor with them. I really think they're going to get that momentum. You just keep pushing forward. You got a little reaction there. What are you thinking?
You know, I love like how optimistic you are about it. Because honestly, that's where my head is too. But I see a loss. I mean, the first time they played Tulane, Tulane doubled their score. I think it was like in the 80s to the 40s. And the second time they played, Temple only lost by a basket. So I mean, just judging this contest is hard in the first place. But when the playoffs are involved, man, listen, I think it's going to be average out those 2 games that they played. And that's still probably like a 15-point loss for Temple. Temple's going to lose around by 10, 15 points. I don't think it's going to be as close, but I am optimistic because how far will they go in the tournament is the next question. And I mean, they're going to be playing South Florida in the next round, who they played well. And I mean, South Florida is a top 15 ranked team in the nation. So, I mean, they might want to see South Florida again just because of how well the first game went. But in your opinion, how far are they going to go in the tournament?
Honestly, I don't see – I know you called me an optimist, but I don't see them going getting past USF if they do win that first game.
Right.
USF is way too powerful, as you mentioned, highly ranked team. I mean, you never know. March basketball is special. A lot of things can happen.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, hey, how far are they going in the tournament? We'll only see in due time. Here we go now over to Howard Field, where the 2-0 women's lacrosse team took on the undefeated Drexel Dragons on Wednesday night.
Bella Mastro Pietro led the Owls with 4 goals, and her teammate Jen Rojewicz scored 3. Corinne Bednarik and Colleen Grady of Drexel both scored 4 each to put the Dragons ahead, and Temple could not fall their way to a win and lose this 19-11. The Temple gymnastics team has struggled to pick up a win in their newer and tougher EAGL conference, but a bright spot has been junior transfer Julia ROLAND, who was fitting right in on North Broad. Jonah Wooten reports.
When I first started looking at colleges, Temple was always somewhere I wanted to come. So not to be like cliche, but it was kind of like my childhood dream coming true.
ROLAND earned those honors last week at Pitt with a strong performance on the vault, getting a 9.9 even score, which tied a program record, and no one had ever done that in 25 years.
It was kind of weird because that was like I didn't feel good. Like I felt ill. I went to go into my vault and I just didn't think about it. I was like, okay, just do one and you're done.
Chanko full, stuck landing, great open shape.
And when I stuck it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
Josh Nilsson, the head coach of the gymnastics squad, knew right away the talent that Julianna possessed.
It's kind of silly when she called me. I still feel like an idiot because she called me and we had a phone conversation. I said, well, I need to do my homework on you. I think we went from I need to do my homework on you to 24 hours later being like, hey, I would love for you to be on my team.
The transition from D2 competition to D1 has challenged Julianna to step out of her comfort zone and improve as a gymnast.
Like every time I go, I'm like, okay, someone put me in this position because they trust me. I just have to trust myself. So I think having that kind of mindset was something I've never had before at Bridgeport.
That Gymnast of the Week award is the first for ROLAND as an Owl, and it's the first for the Temple program since moving over to the Eco Conference. For Temple Update, I'm Jonah Wooten.
That was an incredible vault for Temple. Should be a big score for them.
Now introducing a brand new segment we're adding to the show, COLL'S, where I'll be making a few calls of my own on what teams will be winning this week, losing this week, who we should be looking out for, and what teams will do what when game time is approaching. But here we go with my first ever group of COLL'S calls. First up on the table, we have Temple men's basketball, who's a 9 seed against USF 8 seed, likely in the first round of the playoffs. Listen, it's the first time in Temple's program history that they're playing the same team 3 times in a row. Okay, that was a win and a loss, and then here comes with, we don't know yet, but the first matchup against USF was USF had 37 bench points compared to Temple's 17. Temple played well. They shot 44% from the field goal and 45.5% from the arc. But listen, they didn't have a bench, and USF outlasted them. They just simply couldn't score without their starters. For the second group of calls, we take Temple women's basketball, who's a 5 seed against Tulane, who's a 4 seed. Tulane beat Temple 2 times in 2 days back in January. I apologize. Talking too fast, get a little bit too excited. But listen, the first game was a blowout. Second one was a 2-point loss. So who knows what's going to happen? Temple has won 2 in a row and played a great game against then number 13 USF. Who knows? Now we're moving on to the next final call of this week's segment, COLL'S calls. We're going to touch on gymnastics, where, listen, we had a quote from the coach who pretty much in summary said, listen, they haven't won yet, but they would rather be losing in a way better division than staying around near the top in an easier one. Listen, they've been breaking records and they've been performing great. So my call is that they only get better as the season goes along. And hey, if they keep accumulating this experience, look for that first win sooner than later. So overall, with the calls, listen, my go, the men's team's going to win first game against USF. The women's team, like I said earlier in the show, is going to lose, but hey, stay optimistic they win because they might want to see USF again. But hey, watch them keeping it hot. Same with gymnastics. Again, more experience is the recipe for more wins. And that'll do for my segment of COLL'S calls.
It has been a pleasure standing in for Brooklyn. Once again, thank you for having me.
Hey, listen, definitely Nate, I feel you. I'm sure it won't be long until we see you here again. But listen, that does it for another episode of Temple Timeout. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at Twitter, Instagram at TU_sportsdesk. Until next week, we'll see you soon.